Unlimited Africa, growing Africa's tourism economy. And it's interesting that we could be talking about tourism as a growth economy. Some years ago, traveling into the continent, I met one of the elder statesmen who is the head of state, who said, you know, in the past, whenever people came to our country, the officials, the Home Affairs or the Customs or the passport officials would often ask, as visitors came to present their passports, the question they would ask is, what is your name? They would give their name, look at the passport. What do you want here in our country? And they would say, we've come to tour and to look at the wonderful splendor of either animals or landscape. What do you want to do with it? Do you want to take our animals away? You don't have animals in Europe, so you've come here to steal our animals. And they would continue asking them those testing questions. And he said that in many ways is what prevented the growth of our tourism. But today we tell a different story. We tell a story that tourism is one of the most strategically important sectors to our continent. It is a new as well as an old sector. It is old because our people have always traveled across the various lands that we have on our continent. It is new because it has become an important sector in the economy of any country. I was in Spain the other day, and I was told that every year they welcome 30 million tourists into their country. They are like number 2 or so. There's another country that welcomes 40 million and above. So tourism has become an important sector in the economy of many countries. Our people on the African continent have always traveled across the continent to various countries. This sector, in the end, sits at the heart, but as well as the intersection of economic growth, employment, infrastructure development, cultural diplomacy, as well as conservation and continental integration. This is really the heart of what tourism is all about and what it contributes to the economies of our continent. For many African countries, tourism is not merely a leisure industry. It is a developmental instrument. It becomes an instrument through which we can grow our economies. Tourism must be seen for what it is, a major economic driver, as it contributes billions of dollars annually to many African economies. But those African economies have to create a conducive environment for this treasure trove to be opened, for these people to come to various parts of our continent, to come and see the glamour, the splendor of what Africa has to give. Yes, they bring foreign exchange, there are tax revenues that our countries can get, and there are investment inflows. As people see the splendor of what our continent has to give, they become incentivized to invest. And small businesses also develop. Job creation becomes an added activity that we should rely on. But the more important part as well is the skills development. Skills development that should benefit the young people, the women of our continent, and the disabled people on our continent. Now, before COVID-19, tourism accounted for possibly around 7% of Africa's GDP, directly and indirectly, and supported tens of millions of jobs across our continent. And countries such as Egypt, South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Mauritius, and Rwanda have demonstrated how tourism can become a real pillar of national growth. As Minister De Lille was saying, here in South Africa, we recorded 10.5 million tourists who came into our country. And when tourists travel, they do not travel empty-handed. And when they travel, they do not travel with empty stomachs. When they travel, they come in some clothes, but they walk away and go back to their homes with more clothes. Their bags are more full. And this is the beauty of what tourism is all about. For countries struggling with commodity dependence, tourism is the answer. It is able to diversify the economies of countries. If, for instance, your economy is more focused on commodities, as many of our countries on the continent are, tourism can give a country an avenue, a new avenue to grow the economy.